There's something called butchering. It's a lost art, but it is alive and well here at Ottomanelli in the West Village. This is one of New York City's most popular butcher shops and has been for over 60 years. I'm very fortunate today to be here with Frank Ottomanelli, who is going to show us how to take apart and butcher a pig. Frank, I'm really excited about this.
Oh my,
Thank you again for having me.
David.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Take us through the anatomy of that pig and tell us where the cuts that we see at the supermarket actually come from on the animal. I think that's something that most people do not know.
All right, sure, that's easy then.
Okay.
You know, the ears and the head, right? And then we got the front feet, the hind feet, right? What, you know, call them pig's toes. Like, now the whole thing would be a long foot, and then if we separate it, we take the toes off, and then we got the shank here, which is pork shank.
So if you were going to do a pork ossobuco, that would be just the spot for that.
This is what we use.
That's wonderful. That's an interesting take on that.
Oh, this is very flavorful with everything. So now, then we're going to do the. Let me open it up a little bit just to show you the ribs in there, how beautiful they look.
Boy, do those look delicious.
Yeah, you can tell also how young it is.
Wow.
So look how beautiful that is.
Yep.
It's nice and fresh and everything. So this here would be your belly. If you leave the bone on the belly, you call it rib belly. So if you take it off, then take the ribs off, it would be a clear belly. Now, what we do is cut it down a little bit. If we take the ribs off, this would be your pork chops, your rib pork chops. Then you got your loin pork chops here. Well, the whole thing is called a loin of pork. This is the ham, the two legs of the back, you know, two hind legs of the ham. Not the front legs, the hind legs are ham. We could stand it up like that.
Boy, if you
have a nice size oven.
He actually looks happy there.
Oh, he is. Because it's going to your house. It is happy.
Oh, no. What about the jowls? The guanciale, I think the Spanish actually did. That's a wonderful kind of meat.
We'll start with removing the head. Right? Sometimes I like to see if I can get the joint like that.
Yep.
So I don't use a knife or,
you need to have a very sharp knife to do that.
And then we got the head.
Yeah, right. Tell me again, Frank, the cut of meat that's here on the front shoulder. Is that the butt?
This is, part of the butt would be right over here.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is make on this side.
All right.
I'm going to make what we call a long shoulder.
All right.
Do it this way. Come in. Here we got what we call a long shoulder. In fact, let's take the toes off.
All right.
This one I'll probably use my cleaver.
Your cleaver. Well, that's a weapon.
Front one toe, and then here is your pork shank.
That's your shank.
Pork shank.
Yep.
We're working one side at a time.
Frank, I think there's another misconception about the term baby back ribs. That does not necessarily refer to a young pig. It refers to a certain section.
Exactly.
Is that right?
That's right. So, what I might do is go in the back and I'm going to split the pig. This way we can do maybe one side of it one way, and then just to get different techniques and inside of it.
Got it.
All right.
Frank, welcome back. So now what we've done, you've just sawn the carcass in half.
Exactly.
Is that using a mechanical saw?
This one I did, because it's rather use the hand saw.
Boy, that's a beautiful looking animal. So what's next in terms of getting it? How would you take out the ribs?
Well, let's remove the ham first.
Okay, perfect.
So we're going to take the ham off.
Can I give that a whack, Frank? Do you mind? Can I? Great. So the trick here, of course, is just to use the end of it. Whoops. Really don't make it look as easy. There we go.
Pop, don't worry, he's in training. Right. So
Boy, that's a beauty. Boy, that thing.
And they're also going to, because it's a ham.
Right.
We're not going to leave the toes on.
Right.
And that would be your fresh ham.
Now we're getting into the loin.
Yeah. So this here is what would be taking this off, your fresh belly, leaving the bone in. It would be the rib belly. If I take the bone out, should I cut it off? Because then I'll take that off. I'm doing it, David.
Oh. You don't trust me, Frank? Come on.
I trust you.
Actually, I just breathed a sigh of relief there.
And the pig didn't feel nothing.
No, I don't think it has for a while.
We'll just on the side for me. Now this is what they call, you have to remember, it's because it's small, it's still, rib belly, right? It can have bit and bigger. So now, if you've taken these off,
And then you get yourself a very nice set of ribs.
or yeah, let me show you now what we're going to do. We're taking this off.
That's lovely.
Remember, this now is no longer called a rib belly. This here is going to be your spare rib. But this looks small because it's a small pig, right? Now, this is what they call a regular spare rib. Now I'm going to make what we call a barbecue spare rib. Taking this off, that's your regular spare rib. Take this piece of breastbone off. Now you have barbecue spare rib. So right now, this here, we'll take this off. We always count how many chops they're going to be. This would be.
So those are going to be relatively small chops given the size of the animal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is.
Boy, this would be lovely. They almost make a beautiful little hors d'oeuvre.
This would be the loin, and then the rib section, same thing, like a prime rib, a rib roast, like that. So you can make the chops. You can make the, we're going to make them a little thick. I've done some occasionally. I haven't done it for a while. When I do the pork loin, I bone it out and I stuff it with prunes and apricot.
That sounds delicious. God, Frank, those are really,
The prune-
really cute.
Pigs, right?
But that could be. I mean, look. That could be a perfect little hors d'oeuvre.
Exactly. All right. So we're going to do a shoulder again. This time we're going to do it like this. The baby back, you're going to remove this here. You want to take that off?
Sure.
We'll take that off. Take the belly off. Let's take.
Oh, you can,
Okay.
if you want to do that, you can do that.
And then
All right. Okay, so what are you showing me? If I need just a
so we're going to take the ham off again. So we're going to shorten these up again now, right? We have to take the loin off again.
Okay. Which normally you would not cut in. Normally that would come as the full loin, the whole tenderloin.
If you want to see a full loin on, like on a regular pork, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I just have to reach into the case and get it out.
I wonder if that's the most popular. You go to the supermarket. I think probably the tenderloin all shrink wrapped is probably the easiest thing to buy if you want the most minimal work. But I don't think it has as much flavor as the other cuts.
Well, this is how they get baby backs, Dave. I'm going to show you now.
All right.
This is also for people that want some maybe in the supermarket.
I
Even
can't believe I just had lunch and I'm hungry again.
here, here's what we're going to do.
Oh, it's a really easy. Oh, I see exactly.
No, we have, this here is what we left the skin on it. Now we're going to take this part of the belly off. But I'm going
Frank, that is
to
beautiful.
now.
Oof. So what you're doing now is just
Now-
taking the skin off the tenderloin.
No, actually, this is the loin, the rib section of the loin.
Oh.
Now, if this had been a larger one, would have been boneless loin of pork. That's your boneless loin of pork, just the eye or the medallion. So now, and that's how we get our baby backs.
Got it.
This is your pork bones if you want to save it.
Right.
For sauce. And there's your baby back.
Yum.
And then the loin, you can do the same thing. This here would make good chop with the pork chops with the crackling. Right?
Yep.
In fact, yeah.
Yep.
So now, same thing on the ham. There's really not too much you want to do with the ham. Same thing, because most of the time, if you want me to bone that out, I'll bone that out. Just take.
So you'll get a lot of requests for this kind of a cut come Easter with lamb, right? A
or
lot of people want.
smoking and the smoking for Easter. Not too much. They use a lot of fresh ham for maybe Christmas and New Year's.
Right. So what you've done there is separated the joint from that would be the tailbone, right?
Well, this was the tail.
That was the tailbone.
The
Yeah.
tailbone. This is what we call an H bone. Taking this off. No, this is the whole thing intact. Would be a pelvic bone. This here would have been the hip bone and the H, what we call an H bone,
Yeah,
right? But the whole thing is a pelvic bone.
but all still useful for stock and soups
Sure.
and whatever you're going to
Why
do
not?
with it.
Yeah. So now we can do bone out the leg.
One chicken breast made into cutlet,
There's your leg bone, there's your shank bone.
made into cutlet.
So Frank, another thing that you might be able to do here is once you get the bone out, to butterfly to stuff that, roll it and tie it, and then you've got a really nice elegant thing to put in the oven.
Very. See, on a pork, you got a split bone. We're wrapping it up, and then we'll roll it up. You know, tuck the shank in, and that makes a beautiful
That's
rib.
beautiful. Okay, so Frank, I can't believe this was a whole put together animal a half an hour ago. We first took off the head, where you can use the jowls if you wanted to braise those. Certainly there's some recipes that call for the snout, the ears,
Pork shoulder butt,
ideal for braising,
and pulled pork.
and pulled pork.
And then this is your boneless leg.
Right. And that you could...
Your ham, I should say, boneless ham.
So you might stuff that, you might also just grill that as is.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good idea, like a butterfly leg of lamb.
Yeah, lovely.
Good,
Yeah.
butterfly pork loin.
Yeah, that's
absolutely. I think
Yeah.
if you want to grill it, you might want to just score the skin a little bit.
Yeah,
You know, not too
yeah.
deep either.
And scoring, of course, just means cutting in the lines, and
like-
so it doesn't shrink over it.
Right, and you also can put a little more seasoning in.
Right.
Rub it
And then
in.
we've got our
Let's do the baby back.
baby backs.
The
Boy,
baby
that's
back.
no one's gonna have a hard time identifying those.
Definitely not. And, you know, too bad we didn't make a little crown out of that.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, we
Boy,
could-
yeah.
Boneless pork loin,
Right. One of the most popular cuts
medallion,
of meat. Yep. Which you have to be very careful on cooking time with those.
and just your regular rind.
Right. And that you would make cracklings
Crackling.
out of, or yeah, I suppose that's maybe the best use of it.
And this is your other shoulder butt.
And that's your other shoulder butt, so that's the same thing, primarily braising. Right, and then we've got our chops.
You got two little tenderloin.
Oh,
No, go
boy,
to the
that looks
chops. Go to the
delicious,
chops. There.
Yeah,
Do that. There, we got one more.
and one more. Boy, those are beautiful. Boy, those are
mouth
delicious
watering.
looking.
I tell you, this here, which we took off, also to make. This is your baby back, and this is your regular spare rib, barbecue spare rib.
Right,
So
yep.
we're gonna reserve all these bones. And David, you're gonna make a nice stock.
Make a
with them,
delicious
right?
stock out of them.
And this is your bone-in loin of pork, which we would, if it had been bigger, we would crack the bone a few times so you can slice it with the bone, make a pork roast with the bone in.
Lovely. Boy, is that nice. Yeah, that really beautiful. And the amount of things that can come out of just this one animal.
And pork loin with the rind on.
Yeah.
And then we got your fresh belly. This would be the rib belly. And this one would be called a clear belly, because there's no bone.
Right. Right.
So you got your fresh clear belly, rib belly.
And Frank, that was very trendy in restaurants not too long ago. The belly, people would actually braise that cut of meat.
Kidney, I don't know what you want to do.
Yeah,
with
kidney maybe. Yeah. Do we have a cat?
No, that okay.
yeah.
Well, pet would be good.
Yeah.
And pork shank.
And the shanks.
Make ossobuco, pork ossobuco.
Yep.
Which you had mentioned.
It's funny, which most people would associate with veal, but not in this case. And then the feet,
And the
you can just pickle. I mean, it's
Pickle,
like,
pickled pig feet.
yeah, right.
A lot of different things you can do with pork. Pork
Boy,
is-
Frank, I learned a lot here. Thank you, thank you so much for that.
My
I will.
pleasure. Good to always to see you. At the end,
Yeah,
Dave.
always, Frank. Thank you very much again.